All right, welcome back to another video. I believe this is my 15th episode. So thank you again for all the follows. We're sitting at 309 followers. And thank you again for everyone who watches my videos. It means a lot to me. And this week the market was a little bit quiet, I guess. I mean, leading up to Thanksgiving. And then, you have a short trading day as well today. And there was a bit of up and down. There was some hope because the Federal Reserve said that they might cut interest rates in December. So that'll be interesting to see how that goes. But that brought, some renewed interest into the market. And so we ended a little bit stronger this week in terms of the market. But for us, Ticker Tuesday, thank you again for everyone who posted something. So thank you, Sang and Steve. We'll go over these stocks. And, as I said last week, we were just sitting on cash and looking for positions. And the whole idea is to see whether the strategy would pick up some good positions. And we did get some positions. So let's see how they do. We'll go over them today and whether they'll materialize or would they skyrocket like friggin' Sigma Lithium and we miss it. So let's see how this goes. So straight to the charts, I'll just go over what we went last week, which was GPUS. That one was an interesting one. It's quite low, and let me just zoom in here. So this week there was a bit of optimism, I guess, in terms of the charts, but nothing in terms of our strategy. We did see a couple of days where this was sitting at 15 to 16% on the day, made a new swing low of 20 cents. Let's see if that holds. That's basically where I believe that chairman bought all his shares, or 20 or 24, whatever. But yeah, so right now I'm just watching and we'll see how this plays out, but not much in terms of my strategy. What I did find interesting is the volume is really low compared to the average or relatively. So even though there was a lot of up green days, not much in terms of volume. So and volume's a really good indicator. So for now, just watching this stock. The next one was ALMU. So this one's a fairly new stock, so not much data to go off of, and therefore we don't have a lot of points in terms of my strategy picking up anything. But I was curious to see, how this stock uh, would move because I mean it's fairly new. So this is March 2025. I just drew a simple Fibonacci retracement from the lowest low to the highest high. And it's ironic that it's bouncing right at the 61.8 level, which usually what happens. But for me, I see two things that could happen, right? Again, my opinion. It could go up to the 50 level and the 38 level. Um, but then I would expect a crash all the way to the 78 level and uh, maybe the 88 level. So a lot of people don't watch the 88 level. I don't think it's even in most of the Fibonacci retracements, but the 88 level is very interesting level because sometimes it'll retrace to that, and that shows full exhaustion. And a bounce from there is a very strong bounce. So we'll see how this plays. And typically what we want to see is something that I wanted to show you. But so yeah, you have the spike, you have the drop, and then you get the first bounce. What we want to see is making a higher low and another bounce and then again a higher low, and that's usually a good sign. And obviously this is exaggerated, but at the low over here, and especially zoomed out on a weekly time scale like this, those are strong support levels, which would give the final push up. And these bounces is what I usually look for when a stock is quite low in terms of in terms of the exhaustion. So yeah, in terms of this stock, not much to see. It's kind of in a neutral zone right now, and I'll just be watching in the next couple of weeks to see how it does. My personal opinion is it might go lower. Analysts are expecting, I think, another 81% jump from here. So that's quite a lot, but I don't think that'll happen anytime soon. But maybe I'm wrong. But I just don't see, if after a move of this is probably 100% plus move. Yeah, it's a 300% move. I doubt that it'll go. I mean, and the retracement is only, what is this retracement? I guess that would be a 61 level. But yeah, 48%. I don't think that's a full good retracement. But again, that's just my opinion. So I would just be watching this stock and see what happens. The next one is applied. So this one, I feel the move has already happened. I mean, that's a significant move. It's probably a 700% move or 800. Yeah, that's an 800% move. So that's quite a lot. And usually what happens with these kind of moves, you get a massive push back up. If it's really strong momentum, it'll break and make new highs. But there has to be some form of retracement before it starts moving for its next leg up. Analysts are expecting from here a 58% move. So, I mean, might be possible, but again, I'm kind of skeptical if that'll happen right now. In terms of our strategy or what we would have done, we wouldn't have actually bought anywhere here. This would probably be our first position when we'd buy, even though there are many, strategy points. Again, this is only part of the strategy. It's just for us to see. There's a lot of other checks that happen. So this is when most of the checks actually confirmed for us. And you would have got that move, which I think we were buying over here, $2. So that's like almost a 300% move, which is pretty nice. But we did get stopped out, and I think the next position was somewhere over here. So this is what I was talking about in terms of that bounce, right? So we get the first initial move, very strong move up, like 300%, like how I said. And then you get that full retracement and you get that first bounce, which is here. And then you get another bounce. Oops. You get another bounce, which is here. And then you finally get up to rocket all the way. And if you see, this is actually making new higher lows. So that third one was pretty close, but if I actually do it with the lines, you can. Oops, sorry guys. I'm just all over today. So that's the first one. That's the second one, and that's the third one. So if I do that, that's probably a little bit better. So this is building confidence, and again, this is on a weekly time scale, right? So whoever has bought at these levels, so over here or over here, over here, most probably it's institutional buying. They will want to protect or hold that position. So anytime it's coming close to that position, they will push it up with significant volume, or with significant momentum. And you can see that, so you get that swing, you get that first low, and then over here, crazy volume over here, way higher, 189 to the average of 32 million. It goes up again. Again, this is a couple of weeks, right? So because you're April 24, this is September 24, and then this is finally April 2025. So that's a very long time span. And then again, it comes here, again, hits with high volume. Now, granted, it was on earnings day, but significant either way compared to the average, right? 250 million versus 121 million. So those are the points that gives confidence into the lead up of, and you have my little arrow over there, but into the lead up of that big run. And so these are the types of swings that we're looking for, that you know you can sit on easy 200, 300, 400, or even in this case 800% move. So right now, I would just watch again. Same with ALMU, just because we've had 3 weeks of just a lot of selling, and now obviously this is the push, which is usual retrace. Buyers trying to step in and see where sellers are sitting at. But if sellers are stronger or there's more sellers, I would expect a little bit more of a retrace. So that's my opinion for Applied right now. Definitely a good stock, and definitely a good way, I guess, good, how can I say this? Really good in terms of our strategy picking it up. And even both moves. I didn't even look here because I wasn't too bothered past the split. But sorry, previous to split. But either way, that's my opinion on Applied. So next one is BWMX. I mean, this is sitting happy. We are up, I think, 55%. It's slowly building momentum. Sorry, not momentum. Slowly building a bit of green candles, but on low volume, so not too much to be interested in. So let's see how this plays. But yeah, we're just sitting happy. Neo. Neo came out with I would say okay earnings, even though they did beat. It wasn't, they did lose a bit on the revenue. It was a little bit I don't know. I'd say it's more for the future. It's good, but we were expecting a little bit of more news. So I'm in the negative, as I said in the last video. So we'll see how this holds, and I think I'm negative 15% or something like that. But we'll see how this holds over the next coming weeks and probably months leading up to March 2026. Some analysts raised their targets, and some kept their targets, and some lowered their targets. So a little bit of a mixed bag. And I can just see here if I can show it to you guys. But what I do like is analysts are predicting, a higher EPS, and that's what we want to see, right? Higher EPS building all the way, and if they're able to hit that, this is when it should break that 771 major resistance, and after that, start building all the way up to the 15s or the teens and the 20s. So definitely, I think a good long-term play. And if anyone is looking at this stock, uh, and if you missed my buy when I did say it in terms of the people who follow me, then yeah, maybe it's a good time to look at the stock again. Do your due diligence and research. To me, I am bullish on Neo, so let's see how this goes. But what I wanted to show you was actually the forecast. Yeah. So, yeah, one strong sell, a couple of buys, 13 hold, which is quite a lot. So I guess if you guys want to wait, then you can wait. But 18 strong buy. So it's still fairly leaning towards the buy. But yeah, that's my opinion on Neo. TLRY, I mentioned this in the previous video that we got out, which was good. Today was a pretty bad day, 21% down. Um, but I mean, this worked perfectly in terms of a strategy. We got in, rode that, and it hit our stop loss, and it worked perfectly. So I remember when I first posted on Blossom this. I can't find the post because it's probably way back. But I remember one of the guys saying like this is oh man, I forget what he said. But he was like something galore. Yeah, I gotta figure it out, but I'll find it. But it was pretty funny because I mean obviously Tilray is a pretty shitty stock in terms of the charts, and they were bleeding money left, right, center. Um so yeah, pump and dump galore. Yeah. And I remember being like, yeah, I mean it is fair, it is, but what I liked is we rode the pump and we dumped it before the dump, so that was that was fun for us. Anyways, so Tilray we're out, and I'm probably gonna delete it off my watch list because yeah, it's probably, and even there's a share split coming, so we'll see how that works out. And I'm not too sure if earnings will change, but they are definitely a struggling company. And this was just news and hype about Trump probably rescheduling or scheduling something about some talks about cannabis. And I don't know when those talks are going to happen, but the market just jumped for that, and we rode that. The next one was Sigma Lithium. So this one is the one I mentioned. We did all our research, but it just blew past us, and there was even a gap up here. So we could never actually get all our confirmation checks. And right now, it's past where we can kind of, how can I say this? We can kind of predict where the price would go. It's past that because it's stretched so far already. That's already a 100% move. So, um, I said in my previous video that I would do a I would place a buy stop order over here at 1172 on the top of that candle. Um, and it's probably going to be a small position because I'm just not too sure how this stock would play. I mean, has the move already happened? Has momentum exhausted in terms of the buy, and now this will just start retracing, maybe fill that gap before it moves up? Because fundamentally, long term, it's looking very good. Lithium is building in demand. All the big producers are expecting 30 to 40% in terms of the demand, in terms of the forecast as well. And I mentioned that in my previous video, so go check it out. But right now, in terms of this move, right, I'm just not too sure where it's gonna move. And so, again, if I would do 1172, it would be a very small position. And yeah, let's see how that goes. Okay, finally, on to the ones that have um, recently hit our scanner. So this one is Magnera Corporation. They're expecting a little bit of a higher earnings per share, and they are a company that gets involved in hygiene products and protective apparel, kind of wide range of products. But it hit my scanner on the week of 17th November. Got buyer strength. It hit all our checks, and it has been up on the week of 17th for plus 31%, and then this week plus 22%. But in terms of the risk to reward, this is quite, you know, I'd say this is quite low because we're only looking at a zero point 0.4 risk to reward. Again, this is my estimate of where the price could go. It could go a lot higher because, for example, with our really two good plays this year, we were expecting TLRY to go up about 40%, and it did 95% on the max from where we bought it. So that was good. Resolve AI was another one where we were expecting a 60% target, but it went 125%. So it could go a lot higher, but it could also go a lot lower. But again, this is where we're sitting in terms of our position. If we are buying, again, these are just dummy numbers. I just wanted to show you what our risk reward right now is sitting at, with a stop loss at 782 and a buy at 1440. So MAGN is probably low on my list in terms of potential buys, but again, it is a buy, and you could get a possible 20%. So that's one of them. The next one is Pyxis Tankers, I guess. And this one also same concept. Last week we had a week of plus 5%, and this week 7%. So not much in terms of the numbers, but definitely breaking some resistance points, and it's hitting a crossed a long-term resistance as well. And then we have the buyer strength building, so, and obviously high volume. But this one also is kind of low, 0.67 in terms of risk to reward. Stop loss would be that 262, and buy 313, and target 347. Again, pretty shitty. It's only 10%, but again, it could go higher. This one is just it's a tanker company. They're in maritime transportation, and analysts are expecting 162%. So long term, this could go quite high, $8 if they do ever hit it, because that's actually one analyst. So it's, you can take that with a pinch of salt, I guess. Um, and earnings are I guess a little bit higher. But what was interesting is They announced a $3 million repurchase, which is kind of nice. So again, that's just that in terms of the gain. The last one is probably the one I'm most interested in, but unfortunately, it never hit all the checks. And so this last one is Omni AB or OABI. Um, it has gone up 13% last week because when it first hit our scanner, and only 2% this week. But again, it has broken uh, some um, some major resistances, and it's also crossed some support lines. And this was that jump I was talking about, right? So that's that. Oops, sorry, I'm trying to draw with my mouse here, but that's that bounce, and it's making a new high, and so that's why it's getting interesting for me. And then obviously combined with the bias strength, and obviously the other checks as well. This is sitting at 1.7 risk to reward, so that's pretty nice. We're looking at a 40% gain, so it could probably go higher. So this is probably the most potential one in terms of the buys. Now, obviously, I don't want to miss opportunity, so I'll have to decide which ones I'll actually do. I'll probably want to lean more into this, but the only reason I'm kind of skeptical is, or like, I guess my confidence isn't too high, is that I'm not getting, my strategy is not picking up another buyer strength in terms of this week. But the sorry, not but and this is a pharmaceutical company, which I usually hate because they are very, very hard to predict. Just some news about some drug thing and it can freaking skyrocket or dump hard. And they're very hard to figure out or predict which direction they'll go. So that's just some caution. I know pharmaceuticals, they can easily jump 280 in a day, in a week, or they can drop 60% in a day. Those are the types of moves. I guess a little bit on the confidence is analysts expecting a raise in the EPS, and the forecast I believe is quite high, yeah, 305%, and that's seven analysts all saying strong buy. But again, it's pharmaceutical. These analysts always predict all that shit all the time, and it's not always true. But again, this is what I'm looking at in terms of this week for the positions. I'll be posting all the numbers on my Patreon as well. So yeah, I'm curious to know what you guys think as well. If these are, you know, good buys or, yeah, I'm just curious to know what your thoughts are. But that's it in terms of stocks. In terms of crypto, like I said, we're just sitting and watching as the market is doing whatever the market wants to do. As I said, I'm looking for more downward. A lot of people are expecting a massive push up. And one of the interesting ones which I found, I don't even know how this is going to happen, but Arthur Hayes is expecting Bitcoin to go to 200,000 by the end of 2025. That's like only 4 weeks. We're already in the first, last week of November. So I don't know how he expects this to go. So let me just draw this because it's just funny to me. So here, that's not even Feb. That's so here, 29 December. In that short of a period, he expects the price to go all the way to from here. So I'm guessing like that. I see. I've already I couldn't even draw it properly. So it's like in that short of period, he wants the price to reach here, which I don't get how it can happen in 4 weeks. But you know, I could be wrong. I just to me it just doesn't make sense. That you would need a lot of liquidity to come in, and with a lot of momentum to push it up that fast. Um, and yeah, that's so we'll see how that happens. But yeah, I'm just expecting it to come down a bit, or like I said, a skyrocket, but not to 200,000. I would expect to maybe somewhere back to its all-time highs, a little bit lower maybe, before it finally collapses. because it is hitting some long-term like negative trends, which is interesting. So I'm curious if they're able to hold that and push it back up. But yeah, XRP again, same concept. We're looking for some lower numbers. We did see a relatively high volume in terms of this push. So I'm curious if they're able to hold it and consolidate it before the next leg up. But yeah, that's just again my thoughts and opinions on Bitcoin and XRP. Ethereum is just blah. I feel I'm not too sure what is actually going on there. And Dogecoin is just for the fun of it. Uh, has dropped quite a bit from where it was end of last year. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. But anyways, thanks again for watching. Again, those are my picks for this week. Let's see how they do. And yeah, I'm curious how it'll all go. Anyways, until then, thank you guys for watching. Have a good weekend, and see you guys next week.